Nick Ashew here with the DMV.
Has concluded.
The DMVSTREAM.COM player.
Sean Parker along with Nick Allison.
I always wanted to play volleyball in college.
Cordova trying to dig it out of the board. And they score!
Hello and welcome into a brand new season of the Prep Zone here on DMVSTREAM.com. I'm Jeremy Huber, joined today by Deja Adams and Derek Kramer. Brenton Randolph will join us in just a moment. Well, of course, it's another school year, which means sports in high school area is back. We're really looking forward to keeping you up to date on all the sports in the area. Of course, high school football big in our forefront early on in the show in this season. And of course, lots of scrimmages to go ahead and take a look at. You see them on your screen. A lot of powerhouse teams there, both in the private schools, in the public schools as well. DeMatha and Westfield with their annual tilt along the ones we will go ahead and take a look at. Also, we'll preview some of the upcoming games. Remember, Virginia starts their games this coming week. Also, a big scrimmage between two Maryland powers, Wise and Arundel. We'll go ahead and preview that. Of course, plenty of places to watch the Prep Zone. You can see them all on your screen in front of you. Lots of places to check us out and keep up to date on everything going on in the DMV when it comes to high school sports. Well, we'll go ahead and get things started in just a bit. But first, let's take a look at how to get your play included each week on All Met Sports Top Plays.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at AllMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting, interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob. And you got to remember to hashtag it, All Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at allmetsports.com.
Welcome back. Time to go ahead and take a look at our games from the previous week in the Weekend Rewind. We'll go ahead and start off with a matchup of a Maryland public school versus private school powers. Deja, it was Good Counsel versus Quince Orchard.
Yes, and let me just start off by saying that both teams really came out to fight. They both did an amazing job. We have Jalen Leah, number 44, on Good Counsel, a senior, really did an outstanding job during the game. Ended with 4 tackles. Fullback, middle linebacker. We've also got Joshua Pascal, number 4 on Good Counsel, senior. Really powerful tackles during the game as well. Defense came out to really, warm up for the season, and I think they are ready to fight. And ending that with JT Mitchell on Good Counsel, senior, position kicker and punter. Really had some powerful punts. Ended the game with a field goal, punt return that was really great. And I think the boys, they came out to play. So Good Counsel and Quince Orchard, they brought their best, put their best game on, and really fought hard to get ready for the football season this year.
Always interesting when those private and publics match up, teams kind of testing each other. Of course, Quince Orchard, a perennial playoff team over in 4A in Maryland. And of course, Good Counsel looking to go ahead and maybe win the WCAC. They're always so tough over there. Well, another public versus private school matchup in a scrimmage. This time, though, it was DeMatha, the 3-4-time WCAC champs, taking on Westfield, the defending Virginia 6A champs. Derek, how'd that one go?
Yeah, it was a great game. Two powerhouses in both their respectable leagues. DeMatha really brought. They've got a couple of great players. Quarterback Bo English, he's actually committed to Air Force Academy next year, and he had 2 big passing touchdowns and also made some big plays with his feet. Here you see him making a big chunk of yardage on a run, and he really brought it. He's the big vocal leader on the team. They had an unfortunate injury with Anthony McFarland going down, breaking his leg, but they've got another running back, Sparrow, who's going to come in. He's really going to be the cowbell now. He's going to carry that team. Here you see Chase Young, defensive end, who's committed to Ohio State, making a big play tackle, and he looked dominant at times. He's plays really low with even though he's about 6'5", he's got some real aggression. He's going to be a good player. But DeMatha played really strong, and Westfield, they've got a lot of good talents, and they look like they're going to have a good repeat this year. And, it was good seeing the second stringers get some good play too. As you can see, there's a lot of good play out there. It was a well-balanced effort, even though they're both from different leagues. And I think it's going to be a good season for both of them this year.
Yeah, of course, both those squads, as we talked about, powerhouses. Westfield coming off that state title, always get that early test. Really, you can say that they're kind of the best game team they're going to play all year long. That matchup with DeMatha, with all the talent that they bring over from Hyattsville. Well, another matchup to public schools, in Maryland. A little different classifications, though. The big school, Eleanor Roosevelt, versus the smaller school, Surrattsville. Deja?
Yes, really great game. I think that Surrattsville really went out to keep going. Eleanor Roosevelt definitely put their best game forth. We've got Devontae Stewart. He opened up a lot for the team. He's a fullback. We've got Jaden Faulkner, junior at Roosevelt, quarterback, really strong safety during the game. Great touchdowns, ran the ball all the way to the end zone. So very high performance levels throughout the duration of the game. They ended with a couple of stats of 3 turnovers, 2 tumbles, and 1 interception. And up next, they'll be going against Riverside Baptist. They will be facing Roosevelt, as well as Ruford Drew Jemison Academy, which will be facing Surrattsville on the 3rd of September, both matches. So we'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, Roosevelt, of course, could be tested with a very good Riverdale Baptist team. And, of course, we see some of the highlights there. That Surrattsville squad, a smaller school over in Maryland, but they definitely can kind of pack a wallop, as we see in some of these highlights there. And this Roosevelt squad, again, a team that's looking to challenge some of the big dogs like Wise over in 4A in the east, or in the south, in Maryland. So a good test for Surrattsville, also a good test for Eleanor Roosevelt to go ahead and get themselves into their season. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at DMVSTREAM.com's partnership with USA Football. We broadcast 3 developmental games from Towson University. Welcome back into the Prep Zone. Now Brenton Randolph has joined us on set alongside Derek Kramer, yours truly, Jeremy Huber, and we continue the weekend rewind. And Brenton, you're on the hot seat right now as we'll go ahead and take a look at a matchup you could see in a state championship game. Those two caliber of teams, team from 6A South, Hilton, versus 6A North Power, at least trying to get back to being a power, Centerville. How'd that one go?
Right. It was a very evenly matched game, as you might expect. Both Hilton and Centerville really came out to play. They did an excellent job, both teams. And it was one of those games where they sort of started to get more into the flow as the game sort of like went along later. Both offenses really started to get into the flow of the game and started to open up a little bit. And one of the players that I came away very impressed with was Hilton's running back, Shermaine Presley. He's a junior this year. He came in and he's replacing Ricky Slade, who I believe went down with an injury. And in the scrimmage, he had a touchdown run, and he also had a receiving touchdown on a screen that I think he took about 80 yards, but it got called back for a holding, unfortunately. But on that play, he showed definitely some really good speed. And in general, he was just a guy that every single play, he just managed to go forward. He wasn't one of those guys that was going east to west. He was always going north and south. So that was something that was really good. Also in the game, Davion Franklin had like an incredible interception. Like he located the ball at its highest point and out-jumped him. So that was something that I came away very impressed with.
And of course, you mentioned Ricky Slade being out. They're hoping to get him back at some point this year, of course. But he is such a good player. But if Presley can fill in very well, that would be big for the Bulldogs moving forward as they look to go ahead and remain a power in their conference. Let's go ahead to our next game. This one was a matchup, another one you could see in a state championship game. This was Northwest of Montgomery County taking on Old Mill over near Annapolis. Again, this one was yours, Derek.
Yeah, this was a really good competitive game. They actually had a lot of big plays. They've got a lot of players that are looking to go to big D1 colleges. And my favorite play of the game was right here when tight end Devin Purvis makes a one-handed catch coming up soon. He channeled his inner Odell and had a couple of nice one-handed catches, and he brought the crowd to his feet. So it was a really good heated battle. You see a lot of big plays. And yeah, next up I think Old Mill is playing Severna Park, and Northwest will be playing Gaithersburg. And it'll be interesting to see how their seasons come out. Two very talented teams.
Yeah, of course, Northwest ended up getting deep into their playoffs. Of course, they had won two state championships the previous 2 years, ended up losing to Wise this past year. Old Mill, a team that was undefeated, ended up going and getting knocked off in the first round by Broadneck. So not exactly the way they wanted to end their season last year, but these two teams, as you see, some of the talent out there. Again, a lot of talented guys out in the field for these two squads, and really impressive to see between these two teams. Again, two powerhouse type squads in Northwest and Old Mill. And by the way, folks, you can see them meeting later on in the season at some point. One more game for the weekend rewind. Now we go ahead to a Prince William County versus Fairfax County matchup, Brenton, as it was Robinson versus Osborne.
Right, again, it was another one of those evenly matched games. But one of the things that I noticed that was kind of eye-popping was that Robinson had really an excellent day running the football. And as you can see here, this is Jaquez Stewart breaking what I believe is like a 33-yard touchdown run. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of Arian Foster, that play, because he kind of glides, but he doesn't look like he's running too terribly fast, but yet still nobody catches him. And also Jaquez Stewart, who of course was my top performer, he also wasn't afraid to throw some blocks. I believe he had a really huge block that also set up another very long touchdown run for Robinson, who really just had an excellent day running the football.
Yeah, most definitely. Again, that Robinson team in their single wing offense, known for running the ball, and they definitely can go ahead and get after it. I believe 200 yards or so in the scrimmage. Of course, these two teams, again, they really start things off tough with some tough openers.
Right, absolutely. And Osborne did pretty well as well. Yeah, they showed a lot of speed. They did pretty well passing the ball. And yeah, I believe their opener is going to be against
North Stafford.
Yes, North Stafford. And what was that?
Robinson going to be playing West Springfield in their
Robinson
contest. And of course, that was a really good matchup last year as the Spartans nipped the Rams right at the end. But again, two pretty good teams. And of course, if you didn't know, folks, Osborne coached by Chris Samuels, the former Washington Redskins, so they're looking to be an up-and-coming program in the area. Those two teams meeting up for a pretty good scrimmage in that contest you just saw. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at DMVSTREAM.COM's partnership with Lax Sports Network as they broadcast the Inside Lacrosse Epic Committed Academy Championship Games.
Transition with the fake, the setup, the bounce shot, and the score! Was that the leader?
I think that was Pavelski. Yeah, that was Luke Pavelski. Some creativity in that way, you can kind of see a little bit.
Now time for the All Met Sports Weekly Fast Forward, where we look ahead to the games coming up this week. We'll go ahead and start off with a Loudoun County matchup as Briar Woods will take on Tuscarora, Derek.
Yeah, this is a huge rivalry. They've been having close games every year, and Tuscarora finished the state championship last year, but looks like it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. Briar Woods has Ben Maffey, who looks to be a big part of the offense, looking to spark a turnaround for the team after a disappointing season last year. He's going to really be a real like Christian McCaffrey kind of back, where he's going to catch a lot of balls and also bring it out of the backfield. And Tuscarora senior receiver Gunnar Bieberhauser says the team's excellent chemistry is going to be the key factor in having a successful season this upcoming season.
And of course, as you mentioned, these two teams, no strangers to state championship games. Briar Woods really had a good run there. I believe 4 straight state championships at lower level. Tuscarora finished in the state semis last year, went to the state final the year before. But as you mentioned, exciting games between these squads. Who are your players to watch in this one?
Oh, Ben Maffey for Briar Woods. He's a two-way player. He's a running back and a safety, and he's really going to bring it this year. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but this year he really looks like he's going to be the cowbell, and he's going to lead the team.
And on the side of things for Tuscarora again?
It's going to be Bieberhauser, the senior receiver, and he's tall, he's got great hands, and he looks like he's going to be the go-to receiver.
Again, so in this one, of course, we go ahead and take our picks in this one, and again, I believe we're all in agreement on this contest as these two teams, Tuscarora and we'll start with you, Derek, your pick.
Yeah, I definitely got Tuscarora with this one. The head coach is Don Shula, head coach of the year last year, and I think he's really going to bring the team together this year.
Brenton, you?
Right, I'm also going to be going with Tuscarora. Like you said, they're going to be bringing it this year, and I think, like you said, they've been really impressive going to the state semis and the state championship. I think they'll keep going again.
I'll go with Tuscarora as well, as again, Tusky seems to find a way to pull games out. Expect it to be close, folks, but Mike Burnett and the Huskies will get this one done over Charlie Pierce and the Falcons. Well, let's go to our second game of the weekly Fast Forward. This one will be a Prince William County battle, two of the best teams in the county. As aforementioned, Hilton will go ahead and take on Battlefield, Brenton.
Right. Hilton will be playing Battlefield again. This is a game that they play pretty much every year. And last year, Battlefield broke a 4-game losing streak to Hilton, beating Hilton 28-0. So they really broke through last year. And one of the guys that had a big game for Battlefield was Sean Green, their running back, who had not 1 but 2 touchdowns. He had 1 rushing and also 1 receiving. So he'll definitely look to have another big game against Hilton this time around. And for Hilton, the player to watch will be Kai Bridges, who is a linebacker. Last year he had 87 total tackles, 20.5 of them were for losses. So that's an average of just over 2 tackles per game that go for a loss, which is really impressive. And he also had 2.5 sacks, which he's actually he has the most sacks of any returning player for Hilton. So he's definitely going to be somebody that will look to disrupt Battlefield's offense.
Yeah, this one should be an interesting contest. As you mentioned, these two teams, they play each other a lot of pride on the line, two different sides of Prince William County, but they'll be looking to go ahead and see what they can do and get a little bit of bragging rights. Guys, looks like we're in agreement on this one. Derek, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I got Battlefield for this one again. I think they're going to really bring it this year, and I think it's going to be a good season.
Brenton?
Yeah, I got Battlefield as well. I think Sean Green will probably have another big game, so that'll be something that Battlefield will definitely look to get him going.
And again, as you mentioned before, Brenton, Ricky Slade banged up, not exactly sure of his status, but even a banged up one, you may see him not in this game. If that's the case, Battlefield definitely all the way with me. I think they go ahead and get another win over the Bulldogs. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at how DMV Stream uses our new state-of-the-art Flyback to stream broadcasts in a quick and easy manner.
Okay, so today we're really excited to be using our Flyback kit, which allows us to do a powerful live stream with multiple camera inputs, an entire crew, just by simply rolling a case in to a gym or to a field or even to a basement in DC to do an event. As you can see behind me, this is the TriCaster. It's all set up. At this point, we've got 1 camera input already in. But the really cool thing about this is that it opens and closes very quickly and easily. It's got its own legs on its own stand. See all the inputs. This is where our director will be standing during the broadcast. We can run graphics right into the TriCaster from an independent computer. And then we'll also be monitoring the stream on this computer right behind it during the broadcast. If you follow me, come over this way. During the broadcast, we'll have our play-by-play and our color analyst right here at the desk. They'll be wearing these headsets, so they'll be speaking and calling the game right here in the action. It'll route right through our audio board, and then that audio board, of course, is routed back over to the TriCaster. So a really simple setup. It allows you to get in and get out quickly. We can have this set up within 20 minutes. Everything is fed right into here. A couple of converters and different things that really make this operation sing. It's the beauty of this is that we can get in, get out, do a high-powered production really quickly and simply, which allows us to lower our costs for the client.
We continue the weekly fast forward as Deja Adams rejoins Derek and I on the set. And Deja, our last of the fast forward, a scrimmage in Maryland. It's a matchup between Wise and Arundel.
Yes, I really think that both teams are going to bring it out. I've just been doing research. Wise has really pulled through, against Mount St. Joseph High School. I think that they're really going to come out on top. Excited to see both teams go head and head, but excited to see Reginald, how he's going to play the defense tackle. I think that he's really going to bring his best foot forth, and both teams are going to do well.
Yeah, a couple good players to watch in this one. Wise, of course, coming off that fantastic season of a state championship at the 4A level in Maryland. Of course, Arundel didn't make the playoffs last year, something Chuck Markowitz's teams almost always do out of 4A East. Unable to do it this year, but Arundel play a kind of tricky style, point-a-minute type. Wise can definitely put it up there as well, so it should be really an interesting to see what these two teams are able to do in this upcoming scrimmage. Again, as the two teams again know what they're doing when it comes to playing football and getting after it in a scrimmage type environment. Your players to watch in this one? I believe Trevon Burrell and Dion Cofield, one of them.
Yes, we've got Trevon Burrell, and we also have Dion Cofield. So I think that both of them are really going to do well this game, so it should be exciting.
And of course, those guys out of Wise, you mentioned Reginald, the defensive tackle for Arundel. So again, a bevy of football. Again, some of it going to count, some of it going to be scrimmages, but all of it should go ahead and be fun. Well, earlier I had a chance to catch up with Robinson football coach Scott Vossler and linebacker Donnie Walter to talk about last season for the Rams and their expectations for this year. We're back with Coach Vossler and Donnie. And of course, guys, one thing when I always think of Robinson football, you think of the wing T offense. And Coach, it's one of those things, it puts up such fantastic rushing yards. I played in a wing T offense. A lot of people kind of see it as an old school offense. What are your thoughts on it, and why do you guys still run it?
I think, first of all, as a coach, you got to coach what you know. My father coached in a wing T offense forever, so I grew up in it. So I have a great resource there to be able to fix things if we need to. I also think you need an offense that fits your personnel. And if you were to walk through our building at Robinson, you'll notice that we have an abundance of 6 foot to 6'2", 180 to 200-pound kids. In a wing T, you can utilize those guys at a lot of positions. You can play them at offensive guard, you can play them at tight end, you can play them in the backfield if they have good feet. So we kind of felt like that offense fit what our typical personnel would be in a given year. So that's kind of what we've rolled with. Robinson also has a history of the wing T, so we fit right into that as well. And it's brought us some success. I really don't think, though, you win with an offense. I think you win with execution. And, no matter what offense you're doing, if you don't do it well, you're going to have problems. And I think the reason why we had success last year is we were doing things well offensively, despite whatever offense we're running. So offenses are great. All coaches like to draw up all those plays and things like that, but it really comes down to, taking the right steps, hand, foot, placement, and all that stuff, and executing.
Also having some good players helps. You have a few guys back. Alex Miller, your quarterback, also Roman Lowry are back. Talk about what they bring to the table and maybe some other folks to watch on the offensive side of the ball for you guys.
Yeah, we have our quarterback back. He started as a sophomore. About 4 or 5 games into the year, our quarterback got hurt, and he kind of got thrust in there. I don't think he was quite ready that year, but it was a great learning experience for him, and he played all year last year. Having that leadership is huge. Roman Lowry started very first game as a sophomore and has played in all of them throughout. He ended up with 950-some rushing yards last year. He's a very good player for physical running back. We also have a 3-year starter on the offensive line in Nick Bernacki, offensive tackle, committed to Navy. You can't duplicate and replicate what those guys are capable to do on the field with their decision making. Obviously they're talented, but they're also able to fix things themselves versus the coaches having to see it and fix it later.
So let's get over to you, Donnie. And of course, Robinson kind of known for the offense, but the defense has always been pretty good as well. What do you guys bring to the table on the defensive side of things?
Well, the defense we've had, I think we're very aggressive and a physical defense. Coach Neff just came over last year. That was his first year coaching, and I think he really transformed our defense. We're always flying to the ball, looking for turnovers, and I think we play pretty well as a unit too.
And of course, this will be your 3rd year as a starter at Robinson. Obviously, what have you been able to glean from your time at Robinson, obviously the time under Coach Bossler, when it comes to your playing career?
Well, I think the experience is the biggest thing. Coming in as a sophomore, I don't know, I wasn't really ready at first, but quickly I came to realize that the whole team as well as the coaching staff was accepting and they trusted me. So that was really big in my career as a player. So over the years I've just built up confidence and experience, and now I think I'm at the highest level that I can be.
And again, you're a good resource because you've been in this program for a long time. What's the difference between you got into the program as a young guy to where the program is now as a senior?
Well, I think over the years the program itself has progressed greatly. Just as a sophomore year, we started out strong, but our team was riddled with injuries, so we kind of trailed off a little bit. But last year we improved tremendously, and
you can catch the rest of that interview at DMVSTREAM.com. Of course, that's going to do it for another edition of the Prep Zone. So for Deja, for Derek, and Brenton, I'm Jeremy Huber. Again, we'll see you next time on the Prep Zone on DMVSTREAM.com.